Hey party people, welcome back to MVM, and today I'm here with a review of Speakeasy. Speakeasy is the next game by my favorite designer, Vital Lacerda. Now last year I spoke with him at Essen and he said, hey, this is one of my best games, if not my best game, something to that nature. I said, all right, dude, because the last two games to me were okay. All right, so Weather Machine was okay. Inventions, I might give a little bit more of a shot, but it was a little too abstract. I just wasn't feeling it like the rest of his titles. Now, I love the Gallerist, Kanban, and On Mars. Those are like in the highest echelon of board games to me. And I was like, okay, Speakeasy, you gotta hit a home run. It's like the theme that I love, that prohibition era type stuff. Cool, hit it. I'm liking the actual feeling of moving barrels around. Kind of feels like Escape Plan. I don't put Escape Plan in the higher tier, but I absolutely love Escape Plan. So I was thinking to myself, like, can they hit that theme down, good, bad, or ugly, right? What I can tell you, so if you don't want to watch the entire review, is that this one hits it out of the park. I actually love the theme and how it's incorporated in the gameplay, and I do think this is one of his best designs in recent years, no question. So with that, I'm going to show you how this one plays. We'll get through all the things, my opinion on all of this stuff, and I'm going to do it in less than like 30, 45 minutes because I'm not going to explain every rule to you. I'm going to give you a gist of the concept, and then we'll come back for my final review. All right, party people, let's dig into it. Now, the theme of this is Prohibition era. So you are basically in a time where this man named Lucky Luciano is like, we're kind of in a utopia of mob activity. So basically, we're all able to move about. We all get our own little districts. We kind of have our own little zones. I mean, you basically have access to these districts. There's no war going on because everybody's just trying to make money. And you're trying to make money the best to win the game. But along the way, you are going to be having to fend off some incoming new cats that are coming into town, and you can even have them join you, or you can even have one of them join you, or you can go ahead and take them on so that they don't take over the zones that are in there. Now, there are 16 districts in this game. They are split into three major zones. So here we go. We have our three zones here, and there are three lanes. And what will happen is during each, as we're done putting out our workers, we will score based on how we are dominating these districts, and we'll start adding those up and moving them up this and getting money. The whole idea is we want the most money, and you're going to have money that's out and about. You'll actually have it cash on hand, and then you'll have some dirty money at the beginning of the game. And during the game, you'll get money that goes into your safe. You can use it, but it's like laundered money, so it comes out at half. So like if you have 30 money back here, which you will in the beginning of the game, it's actually worth 15 out there. At the end of the game, though, it's worth 30. It's just during the game, you're moving dirty money, and everybody knows it. So it's like, hey, man, I'm not going to give you full value for that. All right, cool. So now you have these three different zones that you're doing, and then you also have your worker placement spots. I believe there are 8 up here, and those 8 places that you have will either have a space for 1 worker, 2 workers, or 3 different workers. So you can compete for different areas, and there's even 1 spot where you can swap spots and take the same action as someone else. But that's really what the game does, is you're placing a worker and taking actions. And off those actions, you will have, when you place one thing, you may have an option to take 2 actions or an option to take between 2 actions. But you're going to get about 2-3 actions just based off of placing your worker at a spot. But then you have your organization board. And your organization board is where everything unlocks. You're going to start out as low level. Everything's going to be on its left side of its board. And eventually what will happen is you will start to develop yourself so that you can move about freely. So for example, you have your kind of your nightclub setting here. This is where you'll be able to grow your family and have more people, to take care and watch out for your businesses, because that's a thing. And then you also have your ability to sell things. So that will be based on your still, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But this is also your liquor, so that you can put liquor in your trucks, so that you build them at your still, so that you can move them around. And then, speaking of moving around, you have your trucks, which are out here and about, moving that liquor around. You are literally putting the barrels inside the trucks, which is really cool, by the way. I just think that's really cool. But you can't just do that. You have to start establishing yourself out on the board. And at the beginning of the game, this is like middle end and a whole bunch of mix up. But during the game, you're going to have these, and they'll start out here. You'll have these different mobsters who are out here, and they will have different they'll have dominance over these areas. So you'll see several of them at the beginning of the game, and you know that some are coming because you'll see these that'll preview, hey, there's going to be more that come out. They'll come out from these stacks and they'll get progressively harder and more, basically more aggressive to fight off and also defend against. So you want to go in there, kick some butt, dominate the area, and put your speakeasies down. You have to fight them, but then at the end of the round, you also have to defend yourself against certain ones who are revealed, which we'll get to a little bit later too. You also have the cops watching. So during the game, you may also see these little icons right here that say, hey, at the end of the round, you're going to have some cops that come out as well. So they'll start to spread across the board. And as you can see, this is like at the end of the game, there's a lot of cops out here, okay? So you have to be operational. And operational means that you have these guys next to it. So that goes back to your family. You got to have these guys to put out here to protect your buildings, but also like they're active so that they can be delivered to and interacted with. So it's important that you do that because it also helps you with scoring for your zone. So you got operation, you got to have these available, and then you got to do that in order to score for your zone. So there's a lot going on there. And if the cops are watching and you don't have anybody watching, they're not operation because they can't operate. The cops are watching. Okay. So what does a turn look like? I should also say, on your organization board, you also have muscle, like how strong you are when it comes to fighting. And during the game, you may get these goons that will help you fight. And what you're doing is when you maybe want to fight one of these guys, you'll have to take an action that allows you to basically kind of bargain with them and say, hey, like, we're not going to fight you. We want to join you. They're like, sure, we'll give you this benefit, but it's going to cost you every time you use me. So you get a chance to use their strength. They give you something in return. It stays on your board. You'll be using a combination of your strength here and then also some of these goons to amp up your strength to deal with other enemies during the game. So it's up to you to kind of help out with that. And that's one of those things that makes it a lot more easier to deal with things late game, but it doesn't always mean you're going to win. Sometimes those things can come out random and bust you up pretty bad. Over here on the bottom of the board, though, this is where you're going to get your buildings from. So it's got your speakeasies, your smalls, it's got your nightclubs, which are your mediums, and then you have your large, your casinos, which generate a lot more money on the right here. And then this area is over here. When you clear out an area, it discounts what's over here. So like the higher you have the discount, like this one's 8, it subtracts from these as you build them. And as you build each building, you also get benefits as you put them out there. All right, so what does a turn really look like? So let's just kind of take a quick tour here. So you have this main board, and I don't know the names of these areas here, but this is kind of like the city area where everybody can go hang out. You can put a worker there. And this is actually the only action in the game that you can take that will change the turn order around. There's actually a little strategy to that, which I thought was pretty neat. But it also allows you to play cards and play these city tiles. So the city tiles are under here. And when you take over a building, and let's just say I did this and I fought this guy, I take over that building and I also get these city tiles which fill up my board. When I go here, I can actually play them and get the benefits off them. I thought that was really a smart little thing there. Just a little thing there. Okay, let me keep my stuff where it's at so I can explain all this stuff. You're also going to have different things like helper cards. So if I take one of my guys here in the beginning of the game, you're going to have 4 of your workers to place during the round. And as you can see down here, you're going to have less and less workers, a total of 11 worker turns during this entire game, which it sounds scary. Yes, it is scary. But there's a lot that you get done by placing one worker. So for example, I'm placing here, I will get to move up one of my tracks. So this is one of my tracks. I can move it to the right. Some of them will cost cards as we go through it. But what that does is it also raises me up my infamy track. So as I gain one of these, I start going up this track. And what does it do? Well, it opens up my ability to score more money when I start selling my barrels across town. But it also gives me benefits, and it also gives me, when I'm cooking my books and I have books, I can place them on there to get additional money as well. So definitely want to upgrade your organization because it's also going to help you score during the game. Also, you have these things called helper cards. So one of the things with helper cards is they're going to be laying out, and they're going to have bottles on the left side of them, and they'll have money on the right side of them, and in the middle they have a benefit that you get during the game when you play them. What you're trying to do is collect a set of not the same bottles. So if you collect a set of these, and more you collect that are not the same, the more money you'll get at the end of the game. They have money on the right side. You want to make sure that you're paying attention to those. I found that some people even forget about them, but there is a low-key thing to that. You got to make sure you have, you get the benefits that are in the middle. Now, also, like I said, you have these goons. These goons will help you fight. And then we also have like making friends with these guys over here. Like I said, in the beginning, there's 6 of them out here. And as you can see during the game, more and more will come out. They will be around these different districts, and you can fight them. And what you're doing to fight them is looking at your strength. You're using these goons and spending them in order to beat their strength. And that's pretty much what they are. They will give you benefits during the game. Also, you're going to be trying to get out these buildings. As you put out buildings, you may have to fight these enemies. Sometimes you have an opportunity to pounce on areas that haven't been spread against yet. In fact, in the beginning of the game, you get to establish yourself, so it's important to do that. And as you build these buildings, there's benefits that come out with them. So you have an opportunity to kind of stack it up a little bit, get some things as you put them out. Some of these places allow you to do that. But there's also cards in this game. The cards have multiple uses. So each one of these cards represents the different parts of your organization that are on here. And what you're going to do on your turn is if you want to play a helper card, you can. That's a free action. That's the beginning of your turn. It's an optional action. But then you're going to place the worker. So we place the worker. And during one of those actions, you may get one of these place a worker cards that are a certain color, or you'll get one that says you can play a card. The cards they represent the different colors here, but they also give you benefits that are on top and benefits that are on bottom, and you can do those. But then you also have the opportunity to get what's called leverage. And in order to put out more of your guys, more of these family members, you're going to have a certain amount of leverage, which is based on turn order over here. So there's a lot of little things you got to pay attention to here. Leverage is important. You want to rule the streets. You got to own what's going on around here. So you want to make sure that as you place them, you're going to play the cards. And when you play the cards, they're going to go inside. They're going to replace the one that you have in there, and then you will place that inside of there. And a cool little thing is the artwork in there is really nice, but it also gives you a little boost to your leverage, and some of them will not at all. But what they're doing is helping you move across there and give you more strength in your area. There's a lot of other little small things here. You will have an opportunity to protect your buildings. And what you're doing when I say protect your buildings is you're going to have an icon that says, hey, you can put out one of your family members, and you can put them out and put them in front of your building. Now, what does that do? What that basically does is protect this so that you can operate this building and get benefits from this building. It also will help you when it's time to do some zone scoring at the end of let's say era, and you're going to need those in order to break ties and all that stuff like that. Otherwise, your business kind of don't exist. But right now, like these little districts that I have around this board, I own this district, and that's simply because not only I'm covering the 2 spaces that are in there, but I also have operational buildings. And if I didn't, the cops would be like, yep, you can't do anything here. Whereas the enemy has this here. I would have to make sure I do that. There are a lot of different actions on here. So I talked about leverage. There's temporary leverage. I also talked about these city tiles. There's actual spots where you can use them. But we should probably talk about the boats over here. So there are boats that are on the outside of here, and they'll move across as you attack them. You can also deal with them to get some of these barrels, but ultimately you can fight them. So when you get these family members, sometimes you can just put them out here, and sometimes you have to because you don't have space for them. And when you put them out there, you get a benefit, but they also represent your opportunity to fight these boats as you move around with your truck. And we'll get to the truck in a minute. But when you fight these, you're going to have a combination of things that help you score, but you also have these tokens here, these tiles, and these tiles will give you benefits for scoring, but also scoring money, but also benefits during the game. So these become quite powerful, and you can easily overlook that stuff during the game. So going back, how do you actually make money in this game? Well, you make money by, one, completing these different things. And when you go here, you can, what they call cook the books. You will earn these books during the game, and you'll be able to place them if you hit the conditions, and you'll get money for them. You can place up to 3. So there's different ones over here. For example, if I have 2 small buildings, if I have 2 speakeasies in the same area, then I get 20 money. If I have a nightclub and a casino in the same area, then I get 20 money. If I'm at this area, or if I'm above this in infamy, then I can place this here and get 10. And then we have this kind of Central Park area where I can place these on here and get 10 for each. I should also say in this game, there's a lot of variable setups. There's so many different ones of these tiles. There's several of these, several different ones of these tiles. If you have the expansion, they have character abilities, they have goals, they have all kinds of stuff to shake the game up, which is really, really interesting. But I should probably explain the concept of making money in the game. So what you're ultimately trying to do is generate from your still, and your still is one of the kind of like the crux of how this all works. This still right here is the lifeblood of the game, and when you put it out, you have to protect it. Otherwise, it will, if you lose it, it's gone. Now they have a family-friendly version that you can do that you get it back. And what that does is it prevents you from having to go get barrels over here or just dodging it altogether, which can be very, very difficult. But anyway, you would usually, when you produce with these, you will get a certain amount of barrels. And this is based on how far you've unlocked certain things. So let's just say I'm at here, I'm at the 3rd level, I get 2 barrels. Now what happens is now I have to start at my still and get those barrels out of there. So let's just say in a fake world, I take an action and play a green card to put these out here. And then boom, I have my truck. We're at our stills and we're going to try to get our butts. I have 3 movement. I'm going to try to get my butt all the way over here and start delivering to my operating buildings. So I may go over here, get to my operating buildings. Now on a future action, let's say I play a purple card. The purple card will allow me to sell according to how, basically how good I am at selling. So I can sell both of these. And then I will get money for that. I'll get cash in hand. But then I also will look to my right over here and it will tell me based on the building how much money I get. So it's important to upgrade your area here, but it's also, it kind of tells you how much money you're going to get. And that's kind of the basic overview of the game. If you're playing this solo, it's got its own little deck over here. It's really easy to get up and running. It's actually it feels like a shortened rules version of the game. It's like really quick and snappy. So just keep that in mind. Solo, really solid for this game. Now, at the end of a round, you're placing workers until you can't place any workers. And then next round, you'll have 3 workers. Next round, you'll have 3 workers. And then the last round, you'll have 1 worker. So it's important to have those buildings protected because that's how you're going to get a lot of money at the end of the game. So every round, you'll know who these guys are, and then you'll pull those out. You'll flip them over. You know what number they are. You'll put them out, and they get stronger and stronger during the game. These ones right here will become cops, so we'll put out cops where they are. And then you will put out a whole bunch more. They all represent these 16 little districts in here. And then what we'll do is we'll score this whole zone. So we'll look at each one of these 6 districts and we'll see who has the most dominance in each one. And then we will slide these up here according to that. And then the winner will get a certain amount of money. So they'll have the different money for each one of these different zones. And that is basically the game in a nutshell. You just want to get as much money as possible, make sure your buildings are protected, and start moving that good stuff around, moving some of the brown around, okay? So that's basically the game. I'm going to go ahead and get to my review. Hopefully this helped you out. And that is Speakeasy. Now, what do I like? What don't I like? Who is this for? I think that's exactly what you want to know, right? So who is this for? This is not going to be more welcoming to people who are not who are Lacerda people on the fence. I think this one's kind of in the medium weight, just right dead center. But if you are not used to Lacerda games, this might get you because of the theme. I would say if you're into the theme, definitely give this one a shot. I would say that if you have no understanding of the thematic part of the game, it's going to make you struggle through your first part of the game. So this is one of those games where it's like the theme really has to wrap you in for you to be excited about what's going on in the game. Now, what I will say is there's a little bit of randomness there that kind of shakes things up, and sometimes that doesn't work in your favor. So for example, you do know that the enemies are going to get increasingly harder to fight against during the game, but you don't know which ones are coming out. So they'll randomly come out, you'll flip them over, and then you may start losing your buildings because you can't defend against each one. So there's like this is my first time playing the game. I, only have 11 turns, so I have to be super efficient. I'm barely understanding the theme, and here I am getting to 3/4 of the game where I'm actually starting to understand the game, and then I'm getting pounded for my last 2 rounds. That can be really defeating, right? That can be very, very defeating, and it almost feels like at the last round or two, you're getting wiped out and saying, what did I do here, right? Also, I think the boats, like getting rid of one of your stills. So like you lose your still, it's out of the game. Now they have a family-friendly version where you get your still back, but once again, first time playing, it's very defeating to have your still go away. I will tell you that that's not fun, right? To lose your still because you have to go to the boats, which I think the boats part is a weaker part of the game, although it can score you a lot of points. That's another part of the game where it's like, if I'm not understanding the theme of how, this bootlegging-ish type stuff goes on, or prohibition, I may not understand it. Like, I need to start getting my barrels from these rum runners that are on the side of the board. And also people are going to start scoring 20, 20, 25, 15, 20 points from going there because their family is right there. Now, if all you get in return is a couple bucks, I mean, that's fine, but it doesn't make you feel like excited, right? It's a part of the game that kind of thematic thing that they pulled together, getting your stuff and traveling across the board. If you don't get a chance to do it because your stills are, your still is down, kind of stinks. It's like the lifeblood of your game, but it also could be the lifeblood of why you don't like the game. I would also say it is a very tight game. So like, once again, this may be for who it's not for. But most of that for me has to do with just that kind of economy of going on with the stills, losing those. I would also say that the card play can be the card play in this game, which is actually more important than you think. You may think when you play it, this can be good or bad. It's it comes down to the randomness of what the cards are, because you really need leverage to get your guys out. And if you don't have your guys upgraded and you can't get them out, you won't have enough time to protect your buildings. I found that one a little frustrating in a couple of the games that I played, just to kind of make sure that you are ready for all these things that are going on, because you could miss out on not only being operational, but like the opportunity to score. And that's another one where, newer players will get pounced on a little bit from it. So these are not really bad. There's almost like a warning for people who are interested in this game. But I do have that kind of feedback in there. What I will say, though, this is one of his best games. This is in the upper half. It is one of his best games in years. What I like about it is the thematic incorporation. I mean, you have to protect your buildings. You're under the watchful eyes of the police. The police presence is around, so therefore you have to, protect your buildings and have someone sitting outside the club so you can get your booze around, and you literally get to put booze in trucks and move it around the city and put it there with your people. I like that you gain, your operation gets stronger and stronger as the game moves along, so you're able to move weight around, you know what I'm saying? So you can get things done. There are some very interesting combos that you can pull off in this game that I did not see just by placing one worker until I had played several times. I think the fact that it is a highly thematic experience, like Escape Plan, which is one of my favorite Lacerda games, it's going to benefit people who absolutely love it like I do. I felt like this game is very rewarding on how you use your money. I should also say, I thought the set collection, that set collection part with the helper cards, I kind of don't know why it's there, but whatever. I just thought about that. I was like, I kind of don't know why that's there. But anyway, so just the highlights of this game are just what you can do with one worker. The simple, easy actions that Lacerda gives and the actions you get off of that is the gift that keeps on giving. But this one here just has that nice incorporation of theme. It's got a mix of mechanics that I absolutely enjoy, and one that I don't, like that area control influencing. I typically don't like those, but since it's zone based and you have several districts that you can do inside of it, makes me a little bit more excited. And there's so many different ways to score on these different tracks that it kind of makes it so it rewards different type of strategy during the game. And if you do this right, if people are aware of how this works, everybody kind of gets their chance to maybe take over a zone for a round, or when they start to place out their city tiles, they start triggering things together, or when they start cooking the books, they'll take advantage of having their buildings guarded, or they'll be up the track, the infamy track, far enough to score points. So there's always a reward for other people once you start jockeying around, and thankfully they have a place where you can go to take a mirror in action that somebody else has taken, which is always a good out to have in a very tight game. Outside of that randomness of the enemies coming out and possibly dominating you at the end, honestly, that is in the still part. Honestly, that's all that stops this. This is one of the best games I've played this year. It could be up there for game of the year, no question, because I waited for a game like this, and I wasn't on a fence. I was just worried that we may have another okay Lacerda game, and this one is actually a great game for me. So let me know how you feel. I know this game is delivering very soon. You probably can pick it up at Essen. If you see me, if you want to ask me any questions about the gameplay experience before you buy it, I will be at Essen. Just don't be afraid to stop by and say hi to me. If you see me, go ahead and stop me. And with that, party people, have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Thank you for watching this review. I got a couple coming out for Essen, so please watch. You take care. You have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me on MVM.